Hey guys, Jason Bergenske here with Shift Happens. Today's our live stream. I have Jeannie with me today, which is one of our amazing sales reps. She's actually our senior sales rep. She pretty much hits number one almost every month.
Oh, gosh. I got competition.
Yeah, and she definitely has some fierce competition, but today's the last day of the month, and I pulled her in here instead of on sales. So everyone else upstairs right now is trying to get her parking spot, which she currently is winning, but we'll see how that goes. So if you want to sign up for MoveitPro, you can call in and sign up with Jeannie today because I took her off the calls so that they don't beat her. Anyways, that's awesome. So we do have the phone lines open. Phone number is 321-832-8225. You can call in and speak to both of us. But to start things off, we have our Facebook group, which is Moving Company Owners Discussions. That MoveitPro, I guess we own it essentially, but it's just open for, I think there's maybe 3,000 movers in there that are always asking questions, and we post stuff. Awesome. So anyways, we have some questions that came in, and we'll kind of start from there. So Thanks again, Jeannie, for being able to be on camera and happy to do so.
Oh gosh, no, it's like really being in the living room here with just like-minded people.
Yeah.
So thank you for having me.
Well, cool. So awesome. So first one came in, and this came in on the Facebook group, is what are some types of jobs your moving companies do, but definitely don't promote or advertise? The guy said, ours is hot tubs and piano moves. So well, why aren't you advertising them? That's the first question. So anyway, here's the thing. So when we had J&J Metro Moving and Storage, we did tons of piano moves. That was a big part of our business. We did tons of, baby grands and uprights and stuff like that. And that was a good part of business. You know, obviously they're cheaper moves. We usually would flat rate them if they were local and as long as no stairs. But, they were like little 3-hour minis.
But it builds trust.
And it builds trust. And a lot of times people would call us because their existing mover that they were hiring didn't do pianos. So they would call us to just do the piano. And then they'd realize we also were a full service moving company, and we would end up stealing the job for the full move from the other company that couldn't do a piano, which was a big thing.
Well, you're offering a full service.
Full service. So, here's the thing. You need to, in my opinion, you should be doing all pianos. Pianos are really easy. Upright stuff like that is a piece of cake. I mean, you're wrapping it, you're obviously taking care with it, but that's nothing much more than moving a big armoire. Now baby grands, obviously for me, are very easy.
Oh, wow.
If you have a mover that knows what they're doing, they're super easy.
Wow.
But we would send 3 guys out typically to do a baby grand. Some companies are able to do it with 2 guys.
Wow.
But once you teach, you have one guy that knows how to do it, he can teach your other guys how to do it. And, I can break down a baby grand in 20 minutes and get it put up on its side and ready to roll out on a 4-wheel dolly once you put it up on a piano board.
Wow. Okay.
And, you guys are watching YouTube right now to see us. There's tons of videos on YouTube on how to move a baby grand. So you definitely should learn how to do it. And that should be part of your business. And this guy here said that they already do hot tubs and pianos, but he doesn't advertise it. Why? I'd be advertising it.
Take contact, take footage,
Yep.
Show the guys doing the work.
So hot tubs, we did not mess around with. And, we probably could have, but that took some special equipment as far as a bigger trailer and things like that. I do know one of my friends, also a customer of MoveitPro, Gorilla Movers of Wisconsin. They're big in hot tubs. They're big in safes. They do safes. They do safe moves that I wouldn't do. I've seen them do some safes because most people in Wisconsin, they have basements.
Right.
So most of those big safes they're putting down into a basement.
Like the weight. Like what would the weight be?
2,000 pounds, 1,500 pounds, something like that.
Oh my gosh.
With J&J, we had, we definitely had incidents, but I remember getting a call one day from guys moving a safe, I don't know, maybe 1,000 pounds, coming down the stairs.
Oh no.
And it got away from the guys on the way down. Luckily everyone was okay. But at the bottom of the stairs was a 90-degree turn. So there was a wall there. And on the other side of that wall was the garage.
Oh.
And it came all the way down the stairs, through the wall and landed in the garage.
No way.
Yeah. So we
oh my goodness.
we had to fix that. But But anyway, I mean, what else do you have to add on that, Jeannie, as far as the advertising part? Like, if you know how to do it, like, you should be advertising it.
Absolutely. I think the heart of any business is knowing the people who are going to actually do the move. And if you can actually be authentic, showing what you can do, all that muscle power. I mean, I get to see it a lot,
Yeah.
on the Instagram. And it's like, oh, wow, that's cool. I like that. Oh, they're devoted. And you could see that they love what they do. Then, yeah, definitely we're going to reach out to that, that business and say, hey, take care of our job for us.
Yeah. And I think that was the biggest thing because we advertised like, so if you were searching Google for a piano mover for us, you would almost think that's all we specialized in.
Really?
Like if you were searching on Google for piano movers, and we didn't pay for ads on that at that time, but we had tons of landing pages so when you'd search, piano mover in Orlando, we would come up most of the time first. We'd come up, and when you came to it as a someone that needed a piano moved, you would think at first glance that's all we did, which built a lot of credibility because they're like, oh, this company really, this is all they do. But then when they would call us or they'd fill out the form and we talk to them, we would always ask, are you moving anything else? And then it would go, oh, yeah, we're moving the whole house from, we're moving to Lake Mary or whatever the thing is. And we say, oh, well, would you mind if we sent someone out to do a full estimate for you?
Excellent.
And most people that have a baby grand piano, those are good customers. Baby grand piano is anywhere from, used maybe a couple $1,000s up to $40,000, $50,000.
Absolutely.
So if you have customers that have those things, same thing, big safe, stuff like that, they're usually better customers in the sense that they have more stuff. They're not going to complain about paying the bill because they obviously have a little bit of money. They have expensive stuff. And those are the customers that I personally, running a business, enjoy servicing better than the ones that are going to nickel and dime you and complain about every little thing that might be a little studio apartment in the hood versus,
And and Jason, my question is, when I get to hear when I was in the Lion's Den, is that sometimes it's just a specialty thing that you go to as someone who specializes in just moving baby grands, but people don't do the research to be able to get everything done at the same time.
Yep.
Okay, and I think that would make more sense.
And it did. And we would often steal the jobs from the other movers. So that was,
We don't steal.
Well, they decided on the correct moving company to go with.
You're
that would handle
professional.
everything.
You know what? You showed up. You showed up.
Yep.
Told them you could do it, and it's like, hey, there you go.
Yep. So cool.
All right.
So let's see here. We got another one. Should I buy moving leads, and if so, which ones? So this one comes up a lot for us. So I do not, and MoveitPro does not specifically endorse any lead providers. Now, that being said, we probably work with 98% of them. It's a lot. There's a lot of lead providers. So what I will tell you is this. We have customers that are very successful with lead providers, and we have some customers that are very unsuccessful with lead providers. And a lot of it has to do with expectations. So with lead providers, most of them, not all, but most of them are selling the leads to 10 different moving companies.
That's true. That's correct.
So
you're competing.
Correct. So someone is online, and I'm saying like the end user consumer, they're online and they are looking for a mover, or they're possibly moving. So they fill out their info. My name's John Doe. I want to move around this date, and here's my zip codes. As soon as they hit submit, they get 10 moving companies get their information. Like that, right? So if you don't call them within seconds, it's very hard to close that customer, because here's the thing. If any of those other 9 moving companies that you're buying that are also getting that lead do not use MoveitPro or a similar solution, or Lion's Den, by the time you call them, it's too late. So our reps are calling them within 2 minutes, almost every time, sometimes less. Like, it's insane. That lead comes in, our reps are hitting them within 30 seconds.
Right.
Like, it comes in, it dials out. So if you're competing against that, it's very hard, because they'll get a call from us. They'll speak to one of our reps if they pick up. And then, within, usually most normal moving companies, they're going to call them within 10, 15 minutes. They're going to get a call from them. And by then, they've already talked now to 2 to 3 movers. They're done. Like, they're almost frustrated by the 3rd, 4th mover that they keep getting more calls. And by that time, usually we've either already closed it, we've already estimated it, and we're a lot more in. So numbers, let's just talk numbers. So typically for most, and I see the data. So I see the data, this isn't moving company specific. This is lead provider specific. And I see it in our system across the board, all lead providers that come in, all moving companies. The typical lead provider, you close between 3 and 4%. That's low.
Wow, that is
so
low.
100 leads. You pay for 100 leads, you're going to close 3 or 4%. So here's the thing. Are those closings that you're doing, are you buying apartment moves? Because if so, you're probably not making a lot of money. If they're expensive homes, you're probably doing good, right? But you just have to kind of know, most moving companies are not building their entire company based on buying lead providers. They're doing it because they're slow right now, because they want to keep their guys busy, and they're just trying, they bought a new truck and we got to keep it running. We got to keep it going out. And until we keep it going out, this is what we're going to do temporarily. So that's a big thing of what we did and, what I see across the board.
Yeah, no, that's good stuff.
Cool. So let's go the fourth one down. You see, it says Jeannie. So it says, can you tell us more about Legends Retreat and who that is for?
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So Legends Retreat, it's basically an opportunity for moving company owners to be able to collaborate with other moving company owners, other businesses, learn in every aspect of your moving business for it to grow. And I think what it is also the encouragement behind it, the knowledge, the years of knowledge of different owners, and then you see the new owners, brand new companies that can also benefit. So even though don't let that steer you where it says Legends Retreat, yes, there's definitely legends in the industry with so much knowledge, but at the same time, there were a lot of new company owners there being able to get information from those legends. Yeah. And then we had some success stories. And I think you spoke with someone previously. There's like a whole group. Now they collaborate with each other and help each other. I just spoke, I believe, with Leon, and he says that he has been doing moves and collaborating with others
from those people
from that. So yeah.
Local movers here, which is actually in Florida with us. He was there, and he said they actually created an entire WhatsApp group where there's 40 of those movers that were there.
That's awesome.
And they're holding each other accountable, asking how their week's going. What can I, what do you guys think about this marketing thing? What are you guys doing? What's working for you? All this stuff, which has nothing to do with MoveitPro or even Legends Retreat, other than that's how they met. And I think that's a big part of anything you're doing in business is you need to network. You need to be able to collaborate with your competitors, essentially.
Yeah, and you're building a community, really.
Yep. And so that was a big thing we did. So we have that coming up again. It's March 27th through the 30th. Yep. And you can hit that link as legends.moveitpro.com. Prices are going to be going up. I think we're half sold out already. Why don't you tell them a little bit about the house and what it is?
That's what I was going to say. I was just thinking that when you were just saying that about when it's going to be, is that I got to meet a lot of some of my accounts and the spouses, the wives, a lot of spouses. I mean, there's a lot of family business that collaborate together with their company. And what's neat is that there's bowling. I mean, yes, there's a place where, extracurricular activities.
What's a small
going
house?
Into a pool. No, it's not a small house. I think it's like 24,000 square feet.
28,000. 28,000. Four elevators. 28,000 square feet.
And they all loved it.
It is one of the largest mansions in the state of Florida, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome.
The stuff it has 2 bowling lanes, indoor, of course, full half-court basketball court, which is indoors, air-conditioned. A lazy river, swimming pools, hot tubs, saunas, steam room.
Kitchens.
6 kitchens?
Too many kitchens.
So we catered the whole thing. We have food for everyone, obviously. We have bartenders that come and serve drinks, and so that gets interesting sometimes at the end of the nights. Everyone's super relaxed. Court? Yeah, basketball court. And then it has a theater which seats 50 people. Yeah. And so in that theater is 25 of those seats are full recline, relax. The rest of them we set up like stadium seating, and it makes it a super cool place where to be able to collaborate. We do some classes on stuff. We bring in outside speakers that come in. Yeah. Greg from USA Home Listings was the last one, which gave a lot of good stuff for people. And it's 2-part. So one, if you come, you're going to learn a lot of stuff, right? Yep. but the learning isn't even necessarily only from us. Like we're doing classes and doing stuff, but the amount that you can learn from sitting and talking to a moving company that's doing $15 million a year and they're in Texas and you're in Florida, that's worth, it's worth a ton. Like where else could you sit down and go bowling with this guy?
Right.
Or sit and hang out in a hot tub or sit and hang out at the grill in the back or whatever it is, and just be able to shoot the shit and just be able to ask them what's going on in their business and how they're doing and what, dude, like I'm at 1 million now. How do I get to 15 million? And like that guy actually look at you and be honest and like tell you like, well, this is what I did and this is what worked for me. Like that is what's worth so much.
It is. It is. And even you can see the ones that are learning from the ones that have been doing it for so long is that they're like, wow, they're sharing their information. They're allowing me to understand their strategies and techniques so that I can also be as successful. And I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Building that community is awesome.
And we had people come from all over. So we had, and we've talked about this before in some of our other streams, but I mean, who you just brought up, they drove all the way from New Jersey, I think.
Oh my goodness.
New Jersey.
Yes.
We had some from California. We had Oklahoma, Mississippi. So like 80% of the people were not in Florida. Like they came from all over. And so anyways, we are going to sell out on that. Last year was the first year we did it. We honestly didn't know if we were going to do it a second year, but
it's work, but it's
up until the point of the event started, and we didn't know if we were going to do it. And then on the end of the first day, everyone said, when is it next year so that I can put it in my calendar and get my tickets?
Yeah.
And so we ended up selling a bunch of tickets that day or over that weekend or, the few days. And then,
because it's limited.
And then because I mean, here's the thing, the house has 16 suites. And so those suites, to give you an idea, obviously people that were there know, but they're legit suites. The house was built to be like a resort. So each room has its own kitchenette. Each room has its own full, beautiful bathroom, bigger than my studio here. Like it's set up like a hotel, or a big resort type thing.
Yeah, and I think the mindset is that they work so hard. Why not have an opportunity?
Yeah. And it's tax deductible. Like Uncle Sam can't get upset with you to come on this vacation because you are doing it for work and business and it's all that stuff. But that was a big thing. Some people were like, "Oh, I don't want to do like an Airbnb where I'm staying in a house with a bunch of other people." It's not like that. Like this is like the hallways down the house are like a resort. You go in there and your room is 800 square feet and a big area, sitting area,
several levels,
all this stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So anyway, so again, legends.moveitpro.com. We only have, I think we got 6 rooms left, something like that. And then we will sell day passes again, which we did last year. So people, if you already live in Florida, or once we sell out for the actual rooms, we may do some day passes. But again, the room only holds 45 people for the theater. So once that's gone, it's gone.
That's a nice size, though. It's an intimate setting.
Yeah.
It just gives the opportunity for us to be able to.
Yeah, and that's our goal. There's definitely a place for huge places. We're doing Titans retreat. Jeannie's going. I'm going.
Woohoo!
We got a booth and stuff set up for MoveitPro.
That's right.
And I think that's awesome. There's gonna be 500 movers there, and I think that is an amazing place for people to go and network and do that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's a different feeling. Not good, not bad, where you're with 500 movers, you go in for the day, you learn, and then obviously you can do some stuff afterwards. But that's different than going and staying in a 30,000 square foot mansion where you're a lot more one-on-one with people and being able to learn.
You're gonna
and
know
stuff.
everybody's name.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's cool. So again, legends.moveitpro.com. That's legends.moveitpro.com. Hit that link, and we'll do that. So cool. Let's see. So what are ideas and ways to get more 5-star reviews? So this one is, this is a big thing for movers. So I'll tell you, there's a million different ideas. I don't think any of them are wrong, but I'll tell you some of the things that we did and some of the things like I've seen. So as a mover, we're probably in one of the toughest industries to get people to leave a review. Here's why. People their whole life is up in shambles when we service them. So we come out, right? Yeah. So when we come out and service them, their house is in shambles, their computers are disconnected, their couch isn't set up, their TV's not set up, right? Like their life's in shambles. So I think it goes without saying the biggest way to get reviews is you have to provide such an exceptional service, your movers.
You have to stand out.
That they feel obligated to want to leave you a review because they felt so good about the move. Like they feel like, oh my gosh, this move went so well. I need people to know. So that is the number one thing, right?
Love it.
And so, in movers too, one of the hardest things as movers is it's easy to get bad reviews. So bad reviews are hard as a mover because a couple of things can happen. The move goes overpriced. That happens often because the people don't necessarily tell us everything that they're moving. They're not getting an accurate estimate. They could, something happens, inevitable, something breaks or something. We're all human. We're movers. There's claims. It's how it goes. But because they're, $2,000 that they paid for TV from 15 years ago is broken, they think that you're going to give them $2,000.
Oh, wow.
And so they say, well, if you don't do that, then I'm going to, write bad reviews about you. So you deal with some of that. So there's a lot of blackmailing that happens with customers, unfortunately, in the moving industry because things happen in the moving industry. Things will break.
And they're going on emotion.
Correct. The cost will run more sometimes because there's more stuff or something happens. It's really usually not the mover's fault. But I think the most important thing is having your guys build relationships with the customers, go out there, have a smile on their face, laughing with the customer, clean joking with the customer, making it like, we're here to do whatever it takes. We're here to make you happy. If you need us, and my guys were instilled in this when we would go out to someone's house, and we would say this, when we would go there and we would get to the destination and it's time to start unloading, our main foreman would go up to the wife or the husband, whoever it is, and say, look, we're going to start bringing stuff in. You tell us where you want the stuff. If we have to move it 10 times, that's no problem. You tell us.
Oh my gosh.
Because how many, I don't know about, my wife doesn't, a lot of women do, but my mother, my stepmother, she is notorious for, I love you, Annie. She is notorious for, I want to see how that dresser will look there. And it's in another room.
Oh, mover/designer.
Yeah. And so as a kid, my dad and I, we own a moving company, but we move it in there and she looks at it and she goes, no, don't like it. And so we got to move it again. Right. But that's just part of some customers. They want that ability. And so, some movers, and I've seen it, some of the guys will get pissed off. They'll get frustrated. I just put it there. Like, what your job is customer service. Like, yes, you're moving stuff and you're taking care of the customer, but at the end of the day, you're getting paid to make the customer happy. And so like, that's, I think, a big part of the culture you need to build is your guys. And then two, we played around with a bunch of different review options for our guys. So like if a customer wrote a review about them and their name was in it, then we would either give them a bonus straight up from that.
Yes, I've heard that.
We would do, sometimes they'd get points that would go into a pool, and at the end of the month, whoever has the most gets. So there's a million different ways to skin the cat, right? One thing I'll tell you is, and I'm sure most of the softwares have this, but MoveitPro. So let's talk about, and our goal with these things is not to shove MoveitPro down your guys' throat. This is the industry we know. Our goal for these live streams is to talk a lot about the moving industry in a whole, or at a whole, but talk about, so we as MoveitPro looked at how could we help moving companies get more 5-star reviews. And so what we do is, and get less bad reviews. So what we did is we developed a feature that after you do a move, it will send the customer a text or email. It can do either or both. It says, how did we do? So most people are used to seeing that, right? So now it would show the 5 stars or whatever and gives them an area to write their review. Now, here's the funny thing. If they do 1, 2, or 3 stars, they hit submit, it goes nowhere. All it does, it does go somewhere. It doesn't go anywhere publicly. It comes back to the moving company owner or admins
to resolve it,
so that they can look at it and say, hey, what happened? Let us fix it, right? But this gives the opportunity for that customer to feel like they're heard. They're able to write, I'm pissed off, you broke that, right? They're writing all this stuff. They're mad.
Right.
And then they hit submit, and in their head, they think it's going, they think you're getting you. They're posting it out on Facebook and Google. I mean, they think they get their anger out. Now, on the flip side, so that helps you prevent getting, as best as you can, getting bad reviews.
Right.
But then on the positive side is if they do 4 stars or 5 stars, as soon as they hit submit, it then takes them immediately to Google to be able to put it in there.
It's seamless.
And so it's a way of, instead of just sending all your customers your Google review link, you might be surprised. You might get some that you didn't want to get. So the goal is to get ones that are going to be good. And again, to be able to, it's not being deceiving, because the bad reviews, we want, as a moving company, you want to have the opportunity to fix it before they've blasted you.
Of course. I mean, that's with anything. You just want to be able to provide that excellent service, but have their voices be heard as well.
Yeah. Do you have any other ideas as far as review stuff that you've heard? I know you deal with movers all the time.
I mean, to be honest with you, Jason, I mean, you really encapsulated it really well. I just know that reviews sometimes need to be looked at with a grain of salt, because you nailed it right there, where people just have their frustration and just want to say whatever, and it's not necessarily true. So it isn't fair to, that moving business that's trying to thrive and want to grow their business. I mean, I think I had a client that actually went through something like that, and it had nothing to do with his circumstances, and the software did help for them to improve their reviews.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, as far as different strategies, the customer service of what you said, to be able to move anything and just, speak to the wife or speak to whoever the spouse partner is, I think is very critical, because sometimes the guys just don't want to talk.
Yeah.
And just move something, and then it just makes it even more stressful.
Yep. And the reviews in general are needed. You have to have good reviews. We deal with it at MoveitPro.
Yeah.
Our bad reviews, we have one reason for bad reviews, and I'll tell you what it is so we get it out.
Yeah.
If someone signs up for a discounted contract, so I want to do a, instead of doing a year, I want to do 4 years so that my price is cheaper. And then a year in, they decide, oh, I don't want to pay for software anymore. And so we hold them to the contract because that's what they opted for. And then they write us a bad review and blackmail us. Correct.
Right.
But that's, we deal with the same thing. And that's just part of, unfortunately, business.
Yeah.
There's 2 sides to every story. And so I do think consumers kind of see that.
Right.
I will say this as one last thing. When you do get bad reviews, couple things. One, if it's a Google review and the person, bad review, right? So if the consumer writes in that email anything super demeaning, if they write anyone's name, if they mention a sales rep's name, an employee's name, anyone's name, or if they're mention another company, like, oh, but 2 men in a truck would have done better. Any of those 3, Google will take them down if you report it.
Wow. And I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So if you have any bad reviews, look through your bad reviews right now. If any of them mention someone's name, you're able to flag it, and it will have as one of the list items is aggressive towards an actual person or something with a name, and so they'll flag it. So something to think about. But yeah. So let's go on to the next here.
Right. Okay.
So should I buy new or used trucks or rent? So for us, we ran J&J Metro Moving Storage, multi-million-dollar moving company. We sold it in 2021. Had been in business for 53 years when we sold it. Opened in 1968. In 53 years, we never bought a brand new truck. Never.
Smart.
So a couple things. So that's like the catch, right? The catchphrase, the term I'm saying, right? We never bought a brand new truck. But that being said, we only service the state of Florida. So we weren't sending trucks to California, stuff like that. If we were, we probably would have bought a newer truck.
Okay.
So we only did state of Florida.
I didn't know that.
But then in addition to that, when we needed more reliable trucks, like we had a lot of trips going to Miami all the time, stuff like that. We would do long-term leases through Enterprise. Enterprise, Penske, for us, pretty much the same. Enterprise, we got better deals with. That doesn't mean that still is. I don't know. But for us, it made a lot more sense renting. Or not, it wasn't renting. They considered it a long-term lease, but it renewed every 30 days. Oh, so the 2 things that were amazing about that was the fact that they considered a long-term lease, they would give us a brand new truck. We could even get what box we wanted.
Oh.
So we'd get a mover actual box on it. So that was really nice. And then we were able to wrap it. So if you looked at it, it was a JJ Metro truck.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
And as part of that package deal, they included the insurance on it, which, nowadays insurance is, $500-$600 per month, probably per truck minimum. And then in addition to that, they handled all the maintenance. So if my guys were in Miami and we got a flat tire, I didn't deal with it. Like, we just called Enterprise. They sent their guy out there. They paid for the $800 tire change. If the engine blew, if it overheated, if the guys used the lift gate too much and the battery's dead, like we didn't deal with it. We just called Enterprise. They dealt with it. So that was really nice because obviously if you buy a brand new truck, you're probably paying around the same. You're probably paying around the same as the Enterprise. Well, you're probably paying a little more than Enterprise because you have to do your down payment and stuff. But say the monthly costs are around the same, but then you're responsible for everything. And when the truck needs to go in for maintenance, you have to rent a truck then versus the rental. When it goes in for maintenance, they bring me another rental.
I think that sounds nice.
Yeah, it was really, really good. And so that was a big part of our business. All of our local moves, we used older trucks. We were using, 15-year-old mover trucks, usually full mover box on them with a side door and double back doors with a ramp. We ran mostly ramp trucks than lift gates because we did most household goods.
Okay.
For us, it was a lot faster running ramps. But we had trucks also with lift gates. So when we were doing safes, baby grand pianos, like I mentioned, things like that, we wanted to have a lift gate on. And also because the ramp trucks, you don't have to worry about your batteries dying, which would happen with lift gates. So when the guys are there at a job, they're running the lift gate for 8 hours. And so that would happen from time to time. But we would run a 15-year-old mover truck. We would buy them used. We would get them and we'd rehab them before we put them in the workforce. So we would repaint the cabs. And most of it we had some handy guys around the shop. We had some handy guys around the shop. So we weren't sending it out and spending $30,000 repainting it. No. We'd go to Home Depot and we'd buy Rust-Oleum paint. And when guys would get back from jobs or, and they had a short day or we had a couple days, we'd have them out there painting the rims, painting the bumpers. We'd revarnish the floors in them. And literally these trucks would be beautiful. I mean,
That's
just
good.
really, really nice trucks. I wouldn't send it to California just because it's a truck that maybe has a couple 100,000 miles on it. Would it make it? Probably. But I'm not going to risk it.
Right.
But going, most local moves, you're going 10 miles. You're moving here. People that are in Florida, but for Jeannie, you're moving from, Lake Mary to Maitland.
Right.
I don't need to send a $150,000 truck on that. I can send a used truck at that time, maybe $10,000. I'd get a used box truck that was a good deal, but we'd search good deals like that.
Okay.
So that was a big thing. So cool. There was, looks like we got one calling in. He's in screening right now. So he's from Puerto Rico, but we'll wait.
Wow.
Puerto Rico.
Welcome.
Yeah. It better not be in Spanish. I'm just kidding. It can be in Spanish. I don't know Spanish. Don't cuss at me.
No.
Actually, it just came in. So top-notch movers, considering using a CRM in the past, does everything on paper. Let's bring them in.
Wow. I wonder if I know them.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hey. What is your question?
Hi. Yes. So my question is, how long would it take to get started with the software?
Oh, that's an excellent question.
Offer training.
Say what you said again, because I know that you asked the first part was how long does it take for the software to get set up, and what was the second question?
Yeah. So do you offer training for like the team, or it's something that we would have to learn on our own, and how long would it take?
Oh, excellent question, and welcome all the way from Puerto Rico. So first and foremost, usually the fastest that we can get the system set up is within a week. And I have had a client that was very simple in the sense that they did just quick estimates, and it was like 2 days.
Yeah.
And then the training is unlimited. Our training is live, unlimited. We will train you And even if you have new hires and growing your business, that's unlimited training all the way from the morning till 10 p.m. Eastern. Our team is here standing by to assist the movers.
Yeah. And you get access to the software right
Yep.
away. But you're saying a week, that means like actually customer facing, sending estimates,
Everything, the
being
whole
fully,
process.
being
Yep.
trained on it.
Yeah.
Typically when you sign up, if you signed up today, you'd have access to it either later today or tomorrow morning.
Yep. 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 Did that help answer your question?
Awesome. Yes. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
you.
Thank you for calling
All right.
in.
Have a good rest of the day.
Bye. Bye.
All right. So we got some other ones. So there was, sort through them.
Yeah.
So insurance rates in the industry. So, I mean, this was a big thing that we dealt with even with J&J Metro. A couple things. One, getting dropped by insurance companies, which really sucks.
Oh,
Even sometimes
gosh.
when you don't have a lot of claims. But because, for us, we would have certain instances where a current insurance provider was pulling out of our state or out of our market even. And then we had situations where these insurance companies feel like they have you. And so they just every year upon renewal, it's like you're cringing opening what the quote is going to be. So a couple of things we learned on that, and it doesn't mean it's going to necessarily make it completely easier, but one of the things we did is probably for like 15 years we used the same, it was probably longer than that. We used one broker for over 20 years probably that would shop it for us every year.
Oh, that's good.
And so we thought that was good too, but
then what
we used this one broker and they would shop it for us every year. So we were told.
Uh-oh.
And so every year, supposedly it comes to renewal time and they would get us our renewal almost last minute. Every time they'd say, oh, this was the best we could get. This was what it was. Right. And so, we accepted it for a long time because we really built a relationship with this particular,
broker,
mortgage or not mortgage broker, insurance broker or insurance agency.
right?
And so most insurance agencies, and you may know this, but it's not like going straight to Geico and getting a quote.
Right.
You have an insurance broker and they have all your information, all your claims, all your everything. And then they're supposed to go to 10, 20 different insurance companies, individual insurance companies, and say, here's my client, here's everything on them. I need to get quotes. And then they're supposed to present you what these quotes are and the best ones that are most comparable in rates and stuff. And so that way you have options. Our particular one, and I'm going to bet money, this is I'm not going to say most insurance brokers. I think there's a lot of them out there like this that they make the same amount of money no matter which insurance company you go with. In fact, the more the insurance is, the mortgage broker makes more money because they make a percentage.
Exactly.
So for them seeing that you super trust them and that you're always going with who they recommend, and every year the price goes up and the price goes up and the price goes up, and you feel like as a moving company owner, you can't do anything about it. This is just part of doing business. They continually make more money and the moving company owner continually makes less money. We got smart 20 years later.
We got to learn.
We got smart. We were slow learners. And the sad thing is we had a very good relationship with this firm. And that's what the problem was. We had a very good relationship with the firm. And so they did our personal stuff. They did all of our stuff, rental property, they did everything. And so for us, we figured they obviously have our best interest at heart, right? And I don't know that they intentionally didn't have our best interest at heart. They just waited till last minute, didn't get quotes from as many companies as they should have, and then they just said, here you go. So for us, we every year, even though we were currently happy with our current provider, we would go to 3 minimum brokers, completely different brokers, 2 of which did not have our business, 1 did, and give them all of our information and allow them to go search it. Almost every year, our insurance company would switch every couple years would switch because TransGuard would start raising our rates. And then we had Movers Choice, I think is what it was. That one was good. And then they went up. But the point is you just need insurance. It doesn't really matter what insurance company you're with. You need to make sure you have really good policy. You have the coverages you need. And then you just need to you need to shop it every year. The
Yeah.
prices, unfortunately, they're going to go up. I have a bunch of real estate. The price of insurance across the board for real estate's gone up.
Yes, that's
there's
crazy.
There's nothing we can do about it. But what I can tell you is I'm not going to just stand there and take it. I'm going to do my research. I'm going to have
It's legwork.
my brokers search it and see if they can get a better deal and that stuff. And I mean, our house, my insurance, when we purchased the home, my insurance based on who I currently was with was, the quote was like $15,000 a year, which is ludicrous.
Crazy.
Ended up going online, finding similar companies and got it for, like a third of the price.
Wow.
But everyone else, they're saying that's just what it is. You got to accept it. So you got to do the legwork. Just don't think that whatever one insurance company is telling you that's the word, that's gold. That is what it is. You need to shop it.
And sometimes we get used to our insurance companies,
and
you just want to stay, and then you're like, you know what? No, I'm done with paying all of this.
And it's hard for movers because movers insurance, it's very expensive. I mean, even when we were running, our movers insurance was probably running about the cost of payroll a week, but for the month, it was a lot of money. And when you're insuring all those trucks, you're insuring, for us, we had a building and property and, your all your liability and all that stuff. It's a lot of money, and it eats into your profit. So
yeah, that's good stuff, Jason.
So that's good. All right, looks like you got
there's another.
I got
one.
another caller.
Okay.
Hey there.
Hello.
How's it going?
Hi. Hi, so my name is Dana, and I have one location right now. So my question for you is, when do you think is a good time to open, a second branch, to kind of grow my business?
Yeah. Where are you currently located? Where's your current branch?
Oh, currently I'm in Sanford.
In Sanford? Oh, so you're in Florida. Cool.
Oh,
So,
welcome.
So a couple things. So we had J&J Metro, and we only had one branch. So for us, it was really important to really have complete focus on one location until we felt like we needed to expand out to grow the business. For us, it never happened. And we got to a point we were doing, $11.5 million a year in one location. I'll tell you, I see a lot of moving companies where, they're doing $300,000 a year and they want to open another location. And all I can tell you is, in most instances, it is very hard to manage multiple locations unless you have a huge infrastructure to be able to support it, and you have managers and stuff like that, which obviously $300,000 a location, you're not going to have it.
Right.
And so, for us, we didn't want to open more locations, and so a lot of things, because one, it's hard to find really good people to manage your locations. The owner or the executives can only be in one place at a time. And so I think that's why some of the companies nowadays, which are moving industry specific, they've switched to doing the franchise model, which is a little different in the sense of you have multiple locations, but each individual location is typically owned and run by another family. They all report back to the main one, but then you have an owner in every location. And so they've done successful. We never did it, but that was one of the things, I would tell you that, you get to a point where you're making so much money in one location that you either, and the organization is running so seamlessly that you don't need to be there. That's when it's time to open another location.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So when would you say would be a good time? Because I was looking at your website for the call center. When would you think is a good time to begin that process? Like in my current location or when I get the second location?
Yeah. So we have companies that use, Jeannie, I'll let you take this. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to ask is that if you're wanting to grow your business, right? That's what it sounds like, that you're ready, or are you busting at the seams?
Kind of in the middle. It depends. Right now is not really a big time for me right now. We don't have a lot of leads.
Okay.
So that's why, if I have a small business right now, how would the call center work out?
Well, first for the question about the call center, and then that you're not having a lot of leads. And I know that we answered that primarily earlier on. But I would definitely look into the call center just because, as Jason was stating, of how quickly are you getting the leads that are coming in. Even if they're not as many, you want to be able to capture the ones you can, so that then with the call center, it's going to multiply that revenue because you're now going to capture more leads. And there's, different various ways. I mean, I don't know. You tell me, are you marketing yourselves? Are you in search for new lead providers?
Right now I just do Angie, but I'm basically taking the calls myself. So I just kind of want to be able to handle that, but also handle the business side.
Absolutely. And I'm going to ask this question. Are you using software?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay. So definitely let's have a conversation. I'm going to want to get more of your information if you want, because it seems like you're starting to grow and you're going to need probably assistance if you're missing calls, if you're the only one who's capturing the calls and then wanting to run your business.
Mm-hmm.
How does that sound?
That sounds great, actually. I am trying to hire some people for my current location so they can help me out a little bit. So I'm getting there. So I'm probably going to get a system going soon, but I just wanted to ask before I made any choices.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, call in. I'd love to have more conversation with you about this with your business. Right, Jason?
Yep, that sounds good.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, call center for the most part. I mean, here's the thing: we have people in our call center for Lions Den that sign up for Lions Den before they get their first move, and then now they've got 3, 4, 5 trucks. And then we've got companies that have 30 trucks already, and they're just sending us their overflow calls when their reps are all busy. So I don't think there's a right or wrong time. I'll tell you this. When we had J&J Metro, there was no such thing as a call center for moving companies. There was an answering service. That was it.
Correct.
So when you missed a call, it went to someone that picked up the phone and said J&J Metro, but that was as far as it went. They just took a voicemail. They just took a message and then they sent it to us. And I'll tell you, if when we had J&J, if there had been a solution like this, 100% we would have used it. So I don't know that we would have used it for all of our calls. We might have tried it we probably would have started off and just did our overflow calls and after hours. But then, I mean, based on the booking ratios and stuff like that, we would have looked at it and then we would have figured out if it was better than ours. And then we would have had them answer all. I'll tell you, for Lions Den, our booking sales ratio is very high. Yeah. For the ones that we actually talk to is very, very high. But, every moving company is different. Every area is different. So,
yeah. Does that answer all your questions?
Well, thank you so much.
All right,
cool.
great.
Yes, that was all my questions.
All right. Awesome. Thank you for calling in. That's cool.
You too.
So thank you. I think we're about good for the day. Let's see. There's still some more questions, but we've been 45 minutes already. There's like 4, so let's pick up. Can you scroll up out there? You guys are running it. Do we do?
No, opposite.
Yeah. So sorry. Other way. A 30-year moving business. I did local for the first year. Starting to take on long distance jobs. Been getting a lot of big jobs, some needing storage and need to rent trucks. I believe maybe I'm taking on more than I can handle. I only have 2 box trucks. I do a lot of freighting and rentals for bigger jobs. Suggestions with finding a warehouse or just sending stuff there and sending it out in a semi or what? Warehouse. Let's talk about that a little bit. So I don't know if this is going to answer your question that you submitted, but I'll talk. So for us, storage from day one, 53 years ago.
Wow.
Well, more than 53 now because we sold it a few years ago. But
okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So 53 years was from when we sold it. So it was opened in 1968. So you figure out the math, whatever. We had storage from day one. And so I think that opens up a lot of possibilities for you of growing a moving company, having storage, because you're going to get jobs that you might not normally get because, in today's world, it's not uncommon for someone in a beautiful home to list it for sale and they're building a new home, or they haven't purchased their new home yet and their current home sells and they have nowhere to go.
Yes.
And so when that happens, which happens a lot, they would call a mover because they just got a bunch of money. They just sold their home. They're not getting a rental. They're not doing a U-Haul. They're hiring a mover. And they're going to call the moving company and to explain to them the situation. And here's what would happen. We would go out. We would obviously do the move if they hired us. We would inventory everything. We'd bring it back to our storage. Now, the stuff would sit in storage. We would charge them every month for storage. Obviously, sometimes we'd give them the first month free or whatever it was to get the move. Obviously, you got to figure out what your current competitors are doing so you're competitive. But we would, it would sit in storage. And then when their house was ready, which sometimes would be a week, sometimes would be 6 months.
Yes.
They would call us and we would then load everything back on the truck and we would deliver it. Now, here's the thing. Stuff that comes into storage most of the time stays in storage. It's like a 70% chance it's going to stay in storage longer than you thought. Think about during the COVID time. Obviously, that's not a fair comparison, but it is similar. That always happens. There was a huge shortage of building supplies during COVID. So people, and I was one of them, I was building a home, was supposed to be done, and it was like another year.
I know, the windows.
From that home, for windows, yeah.
Yeah.
There was another year until that home was built. So if you were a moving company during that time, you did really well because those people's stuff's in storage. They think it's going to only be there for a month, and it ends up being a year. It's not your fault, but obviously you're charging for the service, and you're taking care of the customer, and then you go out and deliver it. So as far as getting into your first storage, I think you, depending on the capital you have from the beginning, I think is a big metric of what you were to do, right? So if you're bootstrapped in the sense of that you're coming into the moving company doesn't have a ton of money in reserves or cash, it's going to be hard for you to just go out and get a storage and not have money coming in for it. But if I was to open a moving company today, I would go, if I was opening up brand new, fresh, obviously I got some money set aside and I'm, going to make this company run and work. From day one, I would go in and get a small little storage place. So it might only be 3,000 square feet, little storage. And for me, every move I would do, I would give them the first month free.
Nice.
Because my goal would be is to pack that storage unit, because I know based on history and statistics that a big percentage of them are going to end up staying in storage longer. J&J Metro, we sold the moving company portion. We kept the storage portion. We still have people in storage that pay every month that put their stuff in storage 30 years ago.
Wow.
Every month.
I remember you
month.
shared a story like that.
And it's crazy. And so that is a big
stuff.
part of your business. And that allows you now to compete against easily these other movers that don't have storage. Because now when you're dealing with this customer and you say, look, I'll give you a month of storage for free, and you do it because you're getting two moves out of it. You're getting the move into storage and the move out of storage. So it makes sense. And yeah, you're paying for the little warehouse, but you book an extra 5 moves a month because of that warehouse. It's paid for itself. And then obviously the profit's going to start coming. So so hopefully that answered your question, and then we'll kind of go through that. So let's see. We got another question. Yeah. Says they're gonna. Yeah, I see the caller.
Okay.
Yep, you can send it in.
Okay.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm James over at GoGo Moving, and we're over in Los Angeles, by the way.
Okay.
I was wondering if you guys had any issue with that Microsoft server shutdown situation.
Wow.
We did not. I know a lot of companies did. I don't know if any moving specific companies did. Obviously, the airlines were shut down. I think most of the listeners probably know about it, but it was a week ago?
Yeah, I spoke with like an account of ours or somebody on the phone that they were affected because there was something that was integrated with what they were using. I don't know what they were using.
But nothing to do with us.
But it had nothing to do with us, so they were struggling.
Yeah. So like a week ago, so for the people that watch this live stream much later, about a week ago was the Microsoft bug that essentially crashed millions of Microsoft computers, which were typically corporately owned computers that were run at banks airports, stuff like that. The blue screen of death popped up on all these computers.
Gosh.
And the only way to fix it was for a IT technician to be on site at the computer to boot it in safe mode and then delete a file for millions of computers. So we did not have any problems with that. We don't use anything. Well, let me say that. We have Microsoft computers in our office, but nothing server related, and even those weren't affected. But all of our stuff is, we use Google Cloud servers and AWS, which is by Amazon. We use both because we're redundant in both. So our primary is Google. If we have Google issues, it automatically flips over to Amazon. I don't know that any of our other competitors also do that, but that's a big thing that's different for us. We pay for both services, even though we don't need to. And but we do that, and we have not had an outage in a very long time. Knock on wood. I will say every software out there in the world at some point will have an outage, and it is.
Oh my goodness.
It is. I've seen Facebook's gone down before, Netflix has gone down, and you're talking those are billion-dollar companies
that's true.
with some of the highest paid IT specialists, and they take it very seriously, and they've gone down. So we've been very fortunate. I do know that Granat had an outage for a day or so, I think, within the last year. But hopefully,
we don't wish anything bad on anyone. But that's terrible.
It's a matter of time. Every software will have issues at some point. We did maybe 5-6 years ago. We were down for 3 hours, I think.
Really?
And luckily for us, and that's when we switched to also have redundancies with AWS. We had a Google Cloud server problem. So now that would be much less if we had a problem. But when that did happen, we were really lucky that we had completed our integration with Google Calendar not long before. And so it was although the users could not access certain parts of our software for a little bit of that time during that outage. And again, this was like 5 years ago. All of their jobs and all their contacts for customers and everything were in their Google calendars.
Nice.
So I know that some of our competitors that have had outages before, the guys come in the morning and they literally can't even dispatch their trucks because they don't know what the jobs are today. They don't even have the phone numbers for the customers of the jobs today. So that's a big problem.
Wow.
So we've obviously built stuff around that to make sure that doesn't happen. So hopefully that answered your question, but no, we did not have any problems.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I was having an issue with that actually because when it happened, I was actually in the middle of something, and I don't know. I was actually thinking about connecting with you guys outside of this if that's possible. To see what I can do about switching over.
Sure.
Because I don't want that to happen to me. Again, it was a pretty bad situation and it was a pretty big job for me. So if there's a possibility that I could get you guys' information after this or possibly email you.
For sure. Yeah. If you when you get taken off this call, just give your info to you'll be able to talk to either the producer or I think Blake's out there screening calls who you spoke to earlier, and just give them your info, and then Jeannie or Dylan or any one of the other reps upstairs can give you a call.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thank you, buddy.
I'm watching this on the YouTube at the moment. Do I leave my name under the?
Oh, just
you can. Yeah, sure, you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you, buddy. Hope you have a good rest of the day.
Yeah. Thanks for calling in.
I appreciate you guys.
Thank you
for answering the question.
Cool. Thank you. All right. Well, I think that's all I got. So a couple things we talked about. Again, Legends Retreat. So it's Legends, LEGENDS.MoveitPro.com. You need to get your ticket. It will sell out.
Yeah.
This is not a gimmick. This is not me saying it's going to sell out and it doesn't sell out. It will sell out. So that's the reality of what that is. I'm super excited to see you guys there. Obviously, I'll be there. Jeannie will be there. Half of our staff will be there.
Yeah, we'll be set up.
And we have a great time. And there's just a lot that comes from that. I guarantee you will get more than what you pay for it out of value. So again, legends.moveitpro.com. Super excited to see you guys there. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
So I appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you have any questions, Jeannie's phone number, do you know it? We just switched phone systems.
They switched numbers on me. So I don't have it memorized.
Your normal one works. What's your extension?
You mean the 8001?
Yeah. Her extension. Jeez. That is terrible. We switched phone systems. I know how you guys feel now when you switch softwares. Phone number is 866-435-8865. Our phone numbers did not change, just her direct number did. But again, 866-435-8865. That's our normal number. It's been for years. Her extension is 8001. All right. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.